Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. Welcome back to the Everything in Between podcast. Today, we have a guest on the show. She's a returning guest, actually. She was a guest in season one. Would you like to reintroduce yourself for our new audience?
Sure. Hello, guys. I'm Eucharia and I'm Michelle's friend.
Yeah, we're friends. I'm having Eucharia again on the podcast because she was a lovely guest in season one, and I was like, we are visual, so why not come back? But for the audience to know you better, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. They're would you rather questions, and they're not that deep, but
It was the same thing you said last time. Anyway,
but it wasn't deep last time.
Yeah, it was. Cool.
Okay, so first things first. Would you rather have the ability to read minds or be able to teleport?
Well, I personally think I don't need to know, lots of things or everything about anyone or even anything. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing with teleportation, maybe, because I like to walk. But yeah, I think I'll just go with that.
Okay. Would you rather have the ability to have super strength or the ability to fly?
I'm thinking, what would I need strength for, like, in my daily life? Maybe helping people, yeah. I think it's going to be more beneficial to be able to have the strength, so maybe I could just help people around. So yeah, maybe that one.
Okay, so would you rather travel back in time to change things, or would you rather fast forward to the future?
Well, this is slightly tricky because I'm of the opinion that, we learn from the past and, it's not really something you try to go back to. As for the future, I'm based on faith. I'm not trying to be super spiritual or anything, but yeah, I just don't think we need to. I think it's stressful thinking about wanting to change something that hasn't even happened yet or, predict it. So, anyways, my answer would be probably maybe just to relieve a couple more moments like I had in the past. That would just be the reason why, not because I want to know what's in it. Like, I have faith that what's in front of me is going to be great. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Would you rather have to eat only your favorite food for every meal, or never be able to eat it again?
Too much of everything is bad.
Please.
For every meal.
Yeah.
Nah, then that's going to make me hate it anyway. Yeah. So I'd rather not eat it and maybe just. Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
For now, I would say fried rice and snail, peppered snail.
Mother. Yeah. Would you rather have a personal chef or a personal chauffeur, like driver?
Chef. Definitely chef.
Same. Would you rather be able to speak every language fluently or be a master of every musical instrument?
I think. I mean, if I have to speak the language and go to places, then yes, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that.
I feel like languages are better because instruments you can just play. You can always learn.
Instruments were great. Don't get me wrong. I would love to learn a couple, but yeah, I think the language for me.
Yeah, I think instruments are also like easier to learn than languages. So.
I attempted learning one. I don't know if it was easy, but yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, we're rounding up. Would you rather live in a world without music or a world without art?
That's hard because I've come to appreciate, some form of nature, and I see the artistic works of God, and I'm like, and I really love music. It's an expressive thing for me, and which is great. But I would say maybe the art for me, I would keep music. Yeah. Than the art.
So would you rather have the ability? Would you rather have the ability to control the weather or have the power to heal any illness?
To heal.
Why?
Because it's more beneficial. What's the weather going to do for some other person?
This weather is misbehaving.
The weather is lovely in its own. It's I feel like I like it because I like the rainy weather. I like it when it rains. Yeah, I do. I like the smell. Yeah.
The smell.
Yeah. Let's forget about all that. But yeah, I do like the seasons change, and I like that. I like watching the flowers bloom and everything. But killing people.
That's greater, yeah.
Apart from that being great, that's like, what the heck? What are you gonna use the weapon? Yeah, okay, yeah, to heal, definitely to heal.
Okay, last one. Would you rather be the smartest person in the world or the happiest?
The happiest for sure. The happiest.
Yeah, previous guest chose happiness as well.
I feel like
happiness is key, guys. It's good to be happy. Okay, so now to today's topic. Our topic for
I'm
today.
sorry. Happiness is key, but not at the expense of others.
Actually, see, girl, that's true.
Yeah, it is key. Because right now everyone is all about self-love, and then for that, if you're going about it with the right, through the right means, not jeopardizing some other person's happiness or peace just to fulfill yours. In the end, that's just temporary happiness, and you're not eventually going to be like happy for long term. So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually. Pay attention, guys. If you want to be happy, but don't affect others. Now, to today's topic, we are talking about navigating friendship breakups. And who else will talk about this topic who is apart from a friend? So, first things first, I mean,
I should have fun, yeah.
First things first, have you ever experienced a friendship breakup at any point in life?
Oh, yeah, something just came to mind. Yeah, I think I have. It wasn't something that was confronted anyways, like we didn't confront each other about it or anything. Time just went by and we just let everything slide, and we never just revisited the issue or anything. Even right now, we're still not even in contact or communication. I just actually thought about it right now. It's great, but yeah.
I experienced something like that. So I personally, that non-confrontational thing is there because at some point you're just like, what's the point of me having this conversation? Where is it going to lead to? And you just rather let it go.
Yeah.
And
the funny thing is that I feel like if both of us were to be in the same room, maybe we may not even bring it up as an issue. We'll probably just take it as life happened,
Really?
So to say. Yeah, so it wasn't like anything.
It wasn't major.
It wasn't like anything major. I don't want to use the term drifted apart. No. I would say, yeah, life happened.
I mean, friendships, after leaving secondary school, I came to realize that friendships have times and seasons.
Yeah.
Your friends in secondary school may not be your friends in university. Do you get you've graduated, everybody has moved on, everyone has gone to different countries.
Yeah.
And personally, for me, navigating that after secondary school was quite weird because I was like, because all of a sudden somebody can wake up and you guys are not speaking anymore, and it's it's not like you did something specific to them, but it's time and chance, and everything just slid away. But
was it due to location, or you guys just felt like you were no longer serving each other or something, or you were no longer benefiting from each other?
So I came to realize that it was never that deep. So the friendship was not that deep. So that's what I mean by time and chance. So we were in the same secondary school. We were going to the same classes.
Okay.
We saw each other every day. But now we're not going to see each other for years.
Yeah.
So is it do we like each other that much to want to keep the friendship going over?
Okay. Yeah, that was
time.
somewhat similar to mine. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you think it's important to heal when friendships break up? Heal as a person, take notes of what you've done wrong and all of that.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like if you do not try to, first of all, you need to recognize your hurt. Because me, for the longest, I felt like I could, just brush it over. It wasn't such a big deal. I could definitely move on. But later on, I started realizing, over months, that when I did trace something back, I was like, okay, this is why I'm feeling this way. This is why I'm acting towards this person, because of, what I experienced in the past. And I was like, oh, that means I haven't moved on yet. I haven't forgiven. I haven't let go, that kind of thing. But it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's because I didn't even know I had such an issue, because like I said, it wasn't such a big deal, but it was something that was meaningful to me. And it hurt me, so that kind of thing. But then again, I decided to just confront it, bring it to the surface, because I believe God is not going to heal what you don't present. He's not going to heal what you hide. And I just, brought it forward to God, and I just told him my hurt and what I expected, because it was more of expectations that were not met. you
So
know, but
from
they were
like the
unspoken.
person's
Yeah, just were like unspoken expectations I
expectations.
had, you know, towards that person. I felt like the person should have known, and she didn't. And yeah, I think so. So in the end, that's why I can't even say it was her fault or anything. So
But like, did you address it?
no, I didn't. That's
So you
why.
never told her, oh, this is what you're doing wrong.
Nah, I didn't.
I mean, something similar happened to me like last year. It was like something major. The person actually did something wrong to me in this case. And the kind of person I am, right? I'm somebody that tolerates people until I can't tolerate you anymore. So I'm not going to. I would complain the first time. I'll complain the second time. I'll complain the 10th time. That's the last time I'm complaining. I'll just continue to enjoy whatever you're doing that's annoying me. And then one day I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, you know what? Contact deleted, pictures, phew, everything is gone, and I just ghost you.
Why?
I don't know. It's something I need to work on definitely, and I feel like I've worked on it way better after like what happened. I sat down and I reflected, and I was like, this is not a good habit. Because even like a couple months after the person approached me, I was like, oh, why would you ghost me? Da, da, da. You didn't even tell me what I did,
Yeah.
and I was like, I kind of did tell you what you did, but you didn't take it as I was telling you what you did. But at the end of the day, I actually learned that you need to not confront per se, but communication is key. Yeah. So you have to tell them, oh, this is what you did. I didn't like what you did, and if they don't change after that, you need to then walk. It's actually important to walk away from friendships that don't serve you. I'm not going to lie, but that made me realize that it's not always to like one sided. It may also be your fault.
Okay, I have a question. You just said walk away from friendships that do not serve you. Could you explain, she's like, what do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like friendships are two ways. Like they go like it's like a two-way street. So if I'm friends with somebody who I'm always like doing things for, like it doesn't even have to be material things. Let's just say I'm always there for you. Like I talk to you, I listen to you, I support you the best way I can. I just do things for you that show you that I care about you and I love you, and I'm not getting that energy from you.
Yeah.
Then what am I doing there?
Okay. Because like when you did say like serve you, it sounded more like you're using the person.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm of the opinion that like it should be a reciprocal thing. Like you should do something, put in the effort, and I feel like the major factor for friendships would be commitment. You both have to be committed to each other. It doesn't matter if it's friendships or like romantic relationships or anything. So there needs to be that key factor there. But then like if you do take friendship as something that you no longer serve me, this is I've changed my seasons, I've upgraded, you know, that.
I mean, there are people like that.
Bad news and things like that. It's wrong.
There are people that change. It's just like let's say someone wins the lottery and they switch up and
it means there's something wrong with your innate character, you know, that kind of thing. So
they'll tell you you're not on their level anymore.
Nah, that's wrong. So I do not believe it's okay to use people, because when you do have relationships that you're like, oh, okay, you have to serve me for this purpose. You're treating the person as like a consumer good, right? So like if you no longer serve me, you treat the person as an object, and an object is supposed to fulfill its duty, and when it's done, you know, discard it. So that's not how human beings are supposed to be treated. You're innately taking the dignity of that person by doing that, and it's not supposed to be. So yeah, I'm strictly against using someone.
Using people, Don't use people, guys. It's not good.
And don't allow yourself to be used either.
That's true.
Discernment, but yeah.
Like you can obviously.
That's not
I think I was speaking to someone about this recently, and they didn't seem to realize that they were being used. So like people only go to them when they need something. They would never check up on this person. It's always like, oh, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help? And I'm like, when was the last time they asked you, oh, how are you doing? It's always like, oh, I need this. Can you help me with this? You're being used.
But apart from that, I think a preacher one time said like, you need to know, you know, what people are in your life for. He didn't mean in terms of using people, but obviously there are people that do not invest into your life or anything. They're only just there, like you said, when they need you for something or clarity or whatever. It doesn't mean like if you haven't invested yourself in those people, sure, I'm of the opinion that if they need help from you and you can offer help, then of course, why not? Because you're not expecting anything in return. You're not thinking, oh, this person is my friend. If I'm there for him 100%, he has to be there for 100%. No, you just know this person only needs me for this. If it's such that it's not taken away from your mental health, it's not taking anything away from you, like you're not sacrificing too much that it becomes unbearable, like it's detrimental to some other aspect of your life, then why not? Yeah, just go ahead and just take it like you're just lending a helping hand to some other person,
But that's the thing, some people don't know the difference between a friend and an acquaintance.
Yeah, we're always scared to use that word. Everyone is your friend. Who is that girl you just met yesterday at the party? Oh, mommy, she's my friend.
No, I use that word a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't use it in front of the person, but like,
yeah.
I feel like you can. If you're not my friend, you will know, my dear. You will know. I would just be like, "Hello, hi," and it ends there. To be honest, because people also to some people that acquaintance word is offensive.
An acquaintance is not an enemy, guys. It doesn't mean.
But then to some people, it's like, why would you don't rate me enough to be your friend or something?
Are you doing friend stuff that I should consider you a friend? We're not at that level yet. And, it takes two to tango, and I feel like it's relationship.
Yeah.
It has to be built. It's not something you go pick up. You're on level 50 now, all the way from 1. Without working through the throws and everything. So nah.
Yeah, I feel like friendship is built over time.
Definitely.
It's like it has to be cultivated. There has to be mutual effort from the both parties. Like, I cannot be the one putting in effort and you're just there looking at me like, hi, hello.
That's why I think like the relationships you build as a child are the ones that are like longer lasting than the ones you make as an adult. Because like the people you grew up with, you guys are navigating almost the same things in life. You're building up together. As a child, you're like more open to everyone. You're accepting of not everyone, but almost everyone, that kind of thing. So you give what I say the benefit of doubt, and you allow people to come into your life, and other people allow you to go into their life. And when you're navigating things growing up, because as a child you haven't yet developed your ideals, your perceptions, your things, your values, and all those things. So it's easier that way, that when you guys are growing up, you guys are doing it together. So that when you encounter like challenges and all, you see it and then you adapt together. Then meeting an adult and you're coming in with all their baggage from past relationship hurt, trauma, and their attachment styles and everything. I mean, definitely, I do think people do make really meaningful relationship too as adults, but I think majority of the time it's like the ones you grow up with, they're like longer lasting.
I was actually going to like ask that at some point in the episode, but since you're already here, that's wonderful. How do you say navigating like adult friendships has been, like making new friends as you're much older? For me, it's been hard. But yeah, how would you say it was?
I would definitely say it is hard. It's not as easy because like as adults we're already concrete in our ways of thinking, our ideals, our philosophy, and everything, be it from a religious point of view or like political point of view or anything. So then you're coming with the expectation that this person has to suit me. We both have to match, or it's nothing. You're not willing to, would I say, compromise or anything. And I don't mean compromise in the sense that you're being taken advantage of or you take advantage of that person, but I just feel like as adults we have less love and less tolerance for people.
Yeah, less tolerance.
Because most of us at least are coming from a place of, would I say, hurts, like we've experienced different things that were not the ideal situation.
And like, so I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, so when we come into like other relationships, we do not give people the benefit of the doubt. We do not give them like a clean slate to work on. So we don't allow people to be in relation with us like from a mutual point of view, because we already have sort of like an attachment style. For example, like maybe we were growing up and you had, a caretaker that was not really there for you. You tend to have sort of almost like a dependent personality that if someone does come into your life, you expect them to be there. All these people that be like, ride or die or something like that. It's coming from a place of hurt, they probably didn't realize it, or, maybe haven't had the time to see it yet. But I feel like part of our upbringing does build sort of attachment styles, and it affects our relationship. It affects what we expect from a relationship. It affects what we give into, what we put into the relationship also. If you're someone that unfortunately may have been used or abused in the past, you're coming with a mindset of, even when you do desire this authentic adult relationships, you're scared that they're not going to give you their all, like
you're
you're
scared to
giving your
invest
all.
yourself.
And then we also do this thing of self-sabotage, that we feel like, oh no, this is seeming too true. That kind of a thing. You feel like, I don't want to say you feel like you're unworthy, but deep down you do feel that. You feel like,
I spoke to my sister about this recently. That's so
you
crazy.
feel like, because like it didn't work out for you in the past, when you were authentic, where you were your genuine self and everything, and you were so used, it means like no one is going to see that vulnerability in you and not take it for granted or not abuse it or something. So we sort of have this defense mechanism of self-sabotaging, and then we make even the relationships that have potential, end prematurely because we're scared. We're like, oh no, I'd rather just end it at this early stage than invest myself further and be hurt.
That's
I do that too, but yeah.
We all do that. I do that, to be very honest, because I feel like, because of the kind of person I am, I would say I operate on a deeper level than most people do. So when I say like I want to invest, when I call someone my friend, like I genuinely do care about you. And when I start to invest in friendships, when it just goes left, I'm like, yeah, it's time to pack my bags. And it affects the way I meet other people. Because like, for example, here, for instance, there are a couple people I've met, right? On a normal good day, we would be friends. But because I meet them one semester, the next semester you're not in my class, like I cannot keep, especially if I'm not getting that energy from you, I can't keep texting you, oh, how are you? Hi. I mean, if I see you on the road, hi, hello, but that's when it ends. And one day I was like, okay, these people are, anytime I see you, I'm going to tell you hi, hello, I'm going to smile with you. A little chit chat here and there. But would I call you my friend? I was actually thinking about it and I was like, this is quite tricky, because it's not like they are deeper than acquaintances, but they are not. If something happens, I'm not going to pick up my phone and I'm like, oh, hi, hello, I need your help with this. No. So it's like, are they actually your friends, or are they just people you know?
Yeah, actually, like I've noticed that like adult relationships is more of, apart from the season you're in, right? Is more of, I've come too far in life. I'm done with like the childish things. I don't want to be naive and that kind of a thing. So we tend to like subconsciously look for things that, would I say, serve us. Yeah. But then again, I'm still of the idea of not, using people as, a means to an end or something. So it's kind of tricky, to be honest. It is kind of tricky. And like, apart from that, I feel like with the adult relationships, most of the time now, we're all about, we don't give grace. We don't make room for like mistakes or anything, because this is literally a whole human being. You're trying to, get their point of view, know who they really are. At the same time, you're trying to also figure that about yourself. So I feel like we definitely need to extend some sort of grace. But as for if, people like that are your friends or something, I feel like a friend is someone you feel their hurt with. You feel their joys with. Like when they're crying, you cry with them. When you're laughing, you laugh with them. And there are like levels to it. We just don't know if it's called, I don't know what the word after an acquaintance would be, but it may not be like a true friend, but I just don't know, just where that gray area is. Yeah. But then it's still not, I would say it's a helpful relationship.
Yeah, it's not something you could like discard.
Yeah, definitely. It's not all about, because now I figure that like we're putting too much emphasis on, we're like, there's this thing of excess where we make the minute things very, very important, and because of that we take that as an excuse to cut people off. Oh, you did this, you didn't call me, like I called you 12 times, you didn't pick up your phone, that's so bad. What if I were dying on the road, but you were not dying on the road?
Why are you calling me 12 times?
And you're like, you were not there for me.
If you call me, I'm not gonna.
And then we start accusing each other of being fake friends or whatever, because I mean, of course in that moment it's valid for you, you feel hurt, you feel maybe abandoned even, but still, like, we're not, I don't know what to say, we don't have the superpowers or whatever, because I'm guilty of that, so it's like, oh, I've been trying to reach you and everything, but it wasn't my intention to miss the call or whatever, but because of that we look at this as an excuse to cut people off, and I'm not for the whole cutting culture.
I mean, cutting someone off because they missed your call, people
do it for I don't know, maybe they're just trying to get rid of you. You might
that person never your friend?
Told me, I'm sorry, I don't think we should be friends
If
anymore.
that's the
Something
case,
that
I wouldn't have any
some
friends.
very, very
Because my phone,
silly
like,
reason. It's like,
if you call me past, what am I saying? If you call me when my phone, on a normal day, I will not see your call. That means I wouldn't have friends if that's the case.
guilty as charged.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm very guilty as charged. But I understand that thing of cutting people off very likely. But then again, as you're growing older, you're also coming into your senses, and it's like your tolerance level is much lower.
That's it. We don't have grace for people, which is wrong. Which, I mean, we expect that we be given the grace, but then we don't have the. We don't. I feel like in friendship, we should be ready to sacrifice. We should be ready to suffer. Like I said, a friend is someone you feel their hurt, you feel their pain with, and you laugh at them. But right now, we're not willing to invest all the emotions, be that vulnerable for some reason, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just really sad.
True on that vulnerability part, because it's like, okay, am I telling this person as a way of me talking to them, and my gist is going to cast?
Yeah.
Or especially here, no offense, especially here, but like, it's like, who can you trust? Because at the end of the day, you're going to hear it from somebody, and you're going to be like,
right. So that's why, like, mine is just have discernment, pray about things. You don't see one person, and because you guys are in the same like emotional frame of mind right now, you're sharing things, and you feel like this is my bestest buddy for life, and you start telling them your entire life story or something. No, you don't. That's even burdensome to the person. You don't start. That person is not your Jesus. To sort of wash your sins away or make you feel secure or whatever. So I feel like we need to navigate friendships with discernment. As for the issue of people backstabbing, telling your stories here and there, it shows poor character. I hope we are not people that do that to other people, because everyone is all about what she did to me, what he did to me, what have you done to some other person, So I feel like I always expect
like be accountable for yourself.
Yeah, I give what I receive, what I want to receive. So if I do expect a good friend, I would be a good friend. But if peradventure I do not receive a good friend, that's fine. I don't have to go with any baggage in my head. I'm just certain I've done my best, and then I'm going to leave the rest, because some things are just beyond my control, right? No need worrying about them. But then praying that God will indeed send you the relationships you need around you. Because I believe like no one is an island. We do need healthy relationships around you. Be it church community, be it school buddies or whatever. We do need people around us. No one can do it alone.
I also think it's important to treat friendships like relationships.
They're investments. They're important.
They're even more important than relationships, if you ask me, because they are going to be there with you through everything, basically. People come and go, not people, but relationships come and go, but friendships are there throughout every stage of your life. When you're happy, you're sad, and all of that. And to some people, they value relationships over friendships. I think I saw a tweet recently where someone was like, you can give so much grace to your boyfriend when he does something wrong, but when it's your friend, you're like, cut off, snipe, delete, all of that. It's like, be able to give that much grace to your friend, be able to also be able to talk things through. I'm realizing how important it is to talk to people about, because the way you're feeling, you may be feeling hurt, but that person may not know that you're hurting you. So they may not know that what they're doing is wrong. And as someone who doesn't like confrontation, that's a very difficult thing to do, I'm not going to lie. But it's also important to be able to have that conversation in a safe space where it's like, it's me and you, we are both of us are talking to each other, and we should be able to have that conversation and move past it. It shouldn't lead to something so grand. It shouldn't lead to an argument. It shouldn't lead to, let's say, us resenting each other after that conversation or something like that. That's very important.
I have a would you rather for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Would you rather hold things in your heart, whatever offense your friend may have done to you, intentionally or unintentionally, and you keep on allowing it pile up, or you confront them whenever any of these things happen? Whenever it happens, you just peacefully confront. You're not all into someone's face acting like you've done me bad, and because of that, I'm right, you're wrong, and let's square this out right now. So would you rather confront it when it occurs, or would you rather pile it up to one day when someone mistakenly breathes in your face wrong, and you're like, yes, for the last 3 years I've been holding this.
3 years is a lot. No, but personally, for example, I'll give you a case of secondary school. In secondary school, I friendships we used to have ups and downs, and the way I would communicate with my friends is I'll write you a letter. I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I'll tell you exactly what you did to me. I just came to realize that writing letters was better for me because
Ooh.
I'm not somebody that like I can't go back and forth with somebody. Like if I say something to you and okay you don't agree with me and then you like I don't know how to argue with people basically. So what I'll do is I'll write you a letter and maybe the person will not write me back. And that worked for so many of my friendships and it actually helped us a lot. I remember one, she probably would watch this. But I like when things were sad, I wrote her a long letter. I was like, oh, I don't like this. And she wrote me back. Then I understood her point of view. And I came to realize that, you know what, it's fine. So even up to now, I still write letters to people if you hurt me.
I think that's brilliant.
I'll write you a letter just because I don't know how to. I can't hold it in because if I hold it in, I'll start to resent you.
Yeah, yeah.
And resentment is the worst feeling you want to have as a human being. Because it's almost like when you see the person, you cannot breathe. Like your chest is tight.
Yeah.
And it's not a good
and
thing.
And in the end, you're affecting yourself, not the other person.
Because you will not be stable at all.
I like that. So your own form of confrontation would be letter writing, which is ideal, which is great. So I literally advise other people to find their own forms of like confrontation. It's not about going to stand in front of someone to slap them or and do things like
That's
that.
so dramatic.
It is dramatic, but yeah, I really appreciate that. It reminds me of like when we were kids and maybe our mom would annoy us and we'll just write a letter and put it under her door or something.
I think I started that from childhood. When my parents would annoy me, but I would write them a letter like, oh, I was soon running away from this house. I think that like it just followed me even up till now. I still write letters.
And another
like
reason, just so you do not say or do anything you're going to regret later on, because I feel like when you're like confronting the person physically, especially like the atmosphere is like charged, your emotions are all out there. You don't know, and then he'll tell you something like, "Oh, I didn't know when I hit you. I didn't know when this one happened," and things like that. So yeah, I feel like it's a very peaceful way of confronting things.
And your thoughts are collected, like you write and you can reread what you wrote.
And even maybe with the exhaustion of writing is going to drain the whole fury from you.
It's just like the way they say journaling is good for you. Like when you journal your feelings, like you're pouring out something or basically something because the book is a thing, but like you're pouring it out and it lightens you a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, now this is off my chest and I know that I've written this to you. And so I mean, some people, there's so many people that have letters from me out there. But like, it's just a better way, honestly. Especially as someone that doesn't know how to, I don't know how to confront people.
Okay, but then let me ask a question. What if after you finish like pouring your entire heart and your emotions onto the piece of paper and you send it to this person and there's no response?
That was it now. C'est fini. That's the end. I mean, no response from you means that you don't want this anymore. And I respect your decision. I mean, sometimes we need to realize that as much as friendships are two-way, like a two-way streets, basically, you can want to be someone's friend, but the person doesn't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
It's painful.
It is painful.
It is painful, but you have to take that L and move on in peace. So, I mean, if I've written you something and you're like, I don't want to hear from you again, I'll respect your decision. I think that thing happened to me recently. I told the person, oh, I'm not your friend again. I'm not going to be your friend again. And the person was like, I respect your decision. And truly, the person did respect my decision. When I said no.
Oh, wow. It's giving, I was waiting for you to say so.
I mean, previously they had like tried to
mend the relationship.
Yeah, because it was really torn apart. They are trying to mend it in a way, but what they did, I couldn't comprehend it. So part of me didn't forgive them until much later when they properly apologized, and it was important for them to take that accountability for me to like move on from it.
Sure.
But moving on for me, it was like, I mean, we've not spoken for this long. What's the point of continuing this? So I mean, I just let it go, and I spoke to the person. And it's actually very important to speak to people because that's like speaking to the person brought so much clarity to the context. Because from my point of view, it was totally different.
Yeah.
Their point of view was, when I say 100% different from mine.
Sure. And
I was just like, oh wow, human beings are complicated.
We are. You're thinking.
And honestly, everything could have been saved if there was just like area communication,
Yeah.
and there was like, okay, I don't like this. Boundaries were put in place. It was like this, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was what it was. But I think that really taught me something, that in friendships you have to open your mouth and talk.
You have to
Open your mouth and talk, because if you don't speak, you don't know the other person's point of view. And if you don't know the other person's point of view, you're going to be acting out of character. You're going to be doing things and saying things you shouldn't have said. When the person also has like feelings, you can't be inconsiderate towards them just because you think, oh, they hurt me, they did this to me.
Yeah.
They may have done. I mean, some people's bad behavior is no excuse, though. But
Of course, I feel like everyone should know when to leave something. You know, just again the discernment thing. Know when something is, you know, toxic to both you and the person. You know, and just.
But how would you? Let's say you know someone in a toxic friendship. How would you advise them to leave that friendship?
Yeah, the thing is, like, again, another thing with the childhood thing is that even though you guys have sort of learned to grow together, you know, facing different challenges, there have been like fights, there have been misunderstandings, but then again, there have been reconciliations. I feel like there's a certain level of love you have for that person, that even if they do something bad and you're not, you know, in tune with that, you still extend grace to that person more than someone that you met as an adult. You know, you may not extend that same grace. So if I did have someone in a toxic relationship, I would first of all like to know what their history has been. Are they people that have known each other for like maybe 17 years, and meanwhile I've just known this person for maybe 4 or something? Because then like it runs deeper. You can't just tell someone that has invested, you know, that whole part of their life to just up and leave. But I would try to do what I say, the sensible thing in the moment. I'm all for what I say, distancing, because I feel like we need time sometimes to like meditate, to be on our own, to recollect, and it's like an examination of conscience, we call it.
To assess yourself,
just like assess everything and see what went wrong, and then initiate reconciliation when you feel like you're calm. If you feel like it cannot be done by both parties alone, then introduce a trusted third party that will not be biased and, you know, has wisdom, maybe like an older friend or a parent, and maybe any religious figure that you hold dear, or something that, you know, you both would be accountable to, and try to sort out the issue.
That's an extreme, though.
It is an extreme if you're willing to invest into the relationship, because again, we're not all for at the slightest inconvenience cut, you know all this kind of thing. So we're not. So
there's that thing that people do at the beginning of every year. I'll be at the end of each year. It's like, oh, my scissors are out. It's time to cut off.
Nah, we're human beings. We have dignity. We're not good, you know. So, and if you treat someone that way, you'll be treated as such. So if I did have a friend in that situation again, I would first of all pray about it. Let the friend know, what do you think is happening? You know, don't you think you're being abused in this? Like, why are you letting yourself be abused in it? Because it may come from a defense mechanism. It may come from maybe lack of self-worth, or lack of self-knowledge that you're not worthy to be treated this way, or like you're worth more than this, that you're allowing yourself to, or maybe you're just in a phase of life where you feel like this person is the only thing you could cling on to or something. No, so I would first of all like to know what is happening, how far you guys go back, you know, because people tend to repeat actions. If this has been a continuous thing, it's harder to break such people free. It's harder.
I feel like time does a number on people. That's why people can't walk out of. Let's say you've been friends with someone for 10 years. You can't just up and be like, oh I'm not speaking to you again. I mean, this person has watched you grow from time. Do you get? You're just like friends from secondary school, like that proper friends. Like you saw me when I was. I was literally a child, and like you can't just up and be like, oh, I'm not speaking to you anymore. There's always going to be a why. It's always going to linger. If you ever meet the person, it's going to be like, so what happened between us? But it
doesn't mean their relationship that you should not cut up, like even though you guys have known yourselves for like 40 years or whatever, you know. So I just feel like it's a discernment thing again, and try to make it work. If it is supposed to work, take space, and you know, like whatever is yours will come to you. You don't have to do too much or whatever. But yeah, just take the steps. However, don't just sit in your room and be like, if that person really likes me, he'll come apologize or something. No, that's pride, and that's not how
Oh my
relationships are
god,
built.
that was a shade. Anyways.
Okay, I just got that. Okay, yeah.
Please, but sometimes I feel like it's important to know them, but there's sometimes where people are like obviously wrong. Like there's sometimes where it's that other party needs to come and apologize to you first before life goes on. It just has to happen.
Yeah, but what happens if they don't apologize? Does it mean you're going to end the friendship based on just you were right and the person was wrong and you guys just couldn't? That's pride.
Yes.
I understand. I mean, obviously there are relationships that you feel like you're the right one in it, you're justified. Whatever issue you had, that person is 100% wrong and you're 100% right. But I feel like it takes a form of compromise. You guys should sort of meet halfway.
There will be
because
gray lines,
no one wants to feel like, oh, I'm the dumb one, everything is my fault and everything, and that person is Jesus right there, doing everything right and all. So yeah, just it takes a form of humility to bring yourself, to a compromise, so middle ground.
To have that conversation.
Yeah, even though it's not your fault, then fine. Just okay. So here's what I think happened. Here's what I think you were wrong, and here's what I think I was also wrong. Don't make it look like you, even if you're 100% right, you were like 100% right to something. Just be humble about it. If it's a relationship that you need to preserve and you need it to go, like this small thing can't be the reason why. And even if it were a big thing, because I know there are big things that happen and very significant things, I don't want to take it for granted or anything. Again, my method would be to pray about it, take the space, see if it could work out, why it should work out, why it may not work out, and if it does work out, what will happen. If it doesn't work out, what will happen. And if it's worth pursuing again, fine, just go for it. Be humble, even if you have to be the one to go say sorry first. Your mouth is not going to, you won't have Bell's palsy. Yeah, you wouldn't or anything, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's a big deal, it's a big deal. It's not a nice feeling I get, but
saying sorry is hard, especially when you're not in the wrong. It's hard, but it's something that kind of forms you as a person, because it makes you be able to move past situations that you thought you would never get over. But it's like you say sorry and suddenly everybody in the world is happy, like Julia.
And again, even if you do reconcile, you don't have to remain tight buddies or whatever. It's something I've come to learn. But it's just good that you free the person from your heart, from your mind, because in the end, you're the one cutting yourself inside.
This feels like therapy,
You're the one cutting yourself inside. It's like you're hating someone, building all these toxins and building all this bad energy in your heart and expecting the other person to faint from it. That's just what unforgiveness feels like.
Don't do that, guys.
So yeah, it's just free yourself. You're not even doing it for the sake of the person.
You're doing it for yourself.
Free yourself, forgive them, and move on. It doesn't mean you go back to being in a toxic, relationship with that person. No, just leave them and pray God works on them. Yeah, it means they're kind.
Let go of toxic people, guys. But let's say, for instance, you have let's say you have a friendship group and you guys are like 3, 4. You fall out with one person.
Messy.
How do you think the dynamic should go after that?
First of all, I do not believe like if you're on bad terms with somebody, your whole friends, should also be on bad terms with that person.
Are you sure?
It's giving like high school clique that is very petty and unnecessary. So.
Okay, I don't believe that. Okay, to me, it depends on the level of friendship.
Yeah, it does, of course. I mean, as a friend also, you won't watch your friend being disrespected by some other person and then you try to be two tight buddies, with that person that was on the offensive side, So, but then again, it's all about communication. I feel like it should be there in the open for people to choose, and then you'd be like, okay, so here is it. What do you guys think about it? Just let it be. So then that also shows you people's character. So some people don't mind, especially like in a group of friends where you guys are maybe like 5 or 6. Because even the friend group of like 5 or 6, they are buddies. They are buddies. You're not going to be on equal terms with everyone. So then it shows you people's character also, in my opinion. Because people don't mind throwing you under the bus for the sake of themselves or like for their other closer friend.
Sure.
It's just priorities for them. And maybe you're just not it at that moment, so just accept it. But yeah, so if you're in a group of like 3 or 4, and you said there's someone you don't like, would you like the rest of the people to not like them or what?
I don't know.
No. So I don't think because you're falling out with somebody, the rest of your friends should also. It depends on the severity. If it was a small thing, then of course no, they shouldn't. But if it was a very significant thing,
Yeah.
I would say they should be wary because they could also be the next victim. That kind of thing. So if they are wise, they would sort of weigh, they would hear the two sides and sort of weigh what they think is going to be right or wrong or whatever and decide for themselves. But I mean, it could be sort of messy and it could be a messy situation because I can remember back in high school, like girls just four girls and they're like, oh no, we don't like that one. Everybody's when you catch that, it's just crazy. It's just so
high school was unreal.
It was
unreal.
Petty girl attitude, and eventually, I do hope like people do grow out of that.
Some people haven't, to be honest.
Well, then good luck to them. It's like nah.
I personally, right? If again, it depends on the severity of the issue. I've actually experienced this before, and I didn't. The person involved wasn't even necessarily my friend, but the issue was quite severe. So I couldn't. There was no way me and the other person were going to be like, and even I and that person weren't communicating like that. So there was already no friendship established. So it was like very easy to be like, you gone. But again, I'm taking for instance, I have a best friend and I fell out with somebody. On no grounds should you be friends with that person. On no grounds, I'm sorry.
What if it was your fault?
Okay, if it was my fault.
But then would you ever accept it was your fault anyways?
Personally, I'm kind of person, if I do something wrong, I would accept I would accept that I did it wrong.
You say so.
But if I fall out with somebody and let's say the person did something really significant that affected my life and everything, of course, if you're close friends with me, I would not say you can't be cordial with the person, but you can't be kicking ha with the person. And I'm seeing you guys, it's like
that's jealousy and that's like anger. I get it.
It's like but let's say it was something minute and I'm just being petty, for instance. You could be okay with the person. I would not even say be friends with them. I would just say be okay with them. Also, it would put me in a situation where it's like, if you're friends with this person, I'm not talking to this person anymore.
Then why should you have control over
That's what I'm saying. It will put me in that situation, not the other person. So it's like I'm left to choose how deep I want this friendship to go eventually, and not basis of the other person. But to wrap up this episode, what would you say to someone who's like dealing with a friendship breakup right now? Let's say they just walked out of a friendship and they're hurt, feeling down, I don't know the word, but they're down basically. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry about that, to acknowledge your hurt and everything. I know it is a big deal for many of us, we desire friendships, we give sometimes and we do not receive at least that same effort in turn, and it could be really, really hurtful. So, first of all, sorry about that. And secondly, there's still life. Pray about it. God is our ever-present help, is our friend.
Yeah.
Jesus is always there. I know we need people around us to also be the Jesus we need to see. Definitely, I'm all for community. But I just feel just prepare yourself to just heal, do everything you're supposed to do right now. And in time, the friendships you desire, the godly friendships, if that's what you desire, that are supposed to be yours will come. You may be in a season right now that it feels like you're alone or whatever. Just go through it. Make sure you take everything you're supposed to take inside that season because it may not be there again anyways. But yeah, I guess we feel lonely sometimes, we feel alone, but we're never really alone, so yeah, we always have the Holy Spirit in us. So we're never alone. So whenever you're feeling sad, you feel lonely, you see people, going out for group dates or whatever, having fun, just pick up your Bible. If you have to cry to the Lord, let Him know what you're talking about.
This feels like therapy. Speak to me, sis. Speak into the word.
Let Him know what you're feeling, because again, God is not going to heal what you hide. Expose everything. There's nothing you feel like you cannot say. He already knows it anyway, but say it, because but once you say things, it gives freedom to it. The devil cannot be in that murky situation. He can't, pull you down because you haven't said or exposed something. That's the power of our words. Just say it out, so it's going to be there for God to work on, So, but then if you're someone that is hiding it, hiding how you feel, you're not even accepting it or whatever, then of course you're going to see the devil there because that's a place of darkness. That's a place where he could work. So, yes, my dear friend, don't feel sad. I mean, feel sad, but not for a long time. Just wrap up the tears, pray, cry to the right person, and don't cry with no hope. Cry with hope. Like God is going to bring the right relationships to you. So, cheer up.
Yeah, it's important to also take time out to heal from the friendship, so you don't carry the baggage into another person's friendship. Also, so that it allows you to be able to be open to people, like because sometimes you have experienced friendship breakups and it's like you're locked out. You're like, "Oh, I don't want to make any new friends. Nobody should talk to me." No, don't do that to yourself. Be open to new friendships. Not everybody is the same. Friendships come and go. Sometimes there are seasons, and sometimes there are other seasons where it's like you have so many friends. Sometimes you're lonely, not lonely in the sense, but sometimes I feel like God puts you in a season where you're alone. Sometimes he wants to teach you something from that season, and it's important to learn from that season so that when you're going into another season of your life, you're not carrying baggage. You're very much discerning. You know what you want, and you know the kind of people you want around yourself. And don't worry about it. Friends will come. They will come. As far as you're alive, there's hope, and just know that friends will come eventually. Thank you so much for being my guest on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my god, yeah. Kira is a returning guest. If you want to know the first episode that she had, go back to season 2. You can find it on Spotify. And that's a wrap on this episode, guys. Until next time, I remain your host, Michelle. Remember to subscribe. Tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe and hit the bell notification, right?
Yes.
Click the like button. Oh my god, I can't even say this, but yeah, say it.
Hit the like button, share to your friends. If you have like a friend that you want to tell how you feel about the situation, share this video to them. They will get the message.
Yeah.
So make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on all platforms as well. Everything in the Between Pod on Instagram and on TikTok as well. Follow our Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. It's very important for us. So until next time, as I said, I'm your host. I'm Michelle, and this is
Eucharia.
Bye. Bye.